Hi everyone, my name is Georgette Truan. I am the co-host for Fight CPS with Miss G, and I also work for the law office of Vincent Davis. Um, my previous show today, I discussed a lot of a previous case that actually happened a couple of days ago. Um, a child that was beaten and is in the hospital in intensive care. The child is 3 years old and he was beaten to near death, and I hope to God and I pray that he survives by a foster mother. That case is very tragic, and I am so sad for the biological parents and the family members who can't or not allowed to go see the baby in the hospital. I am heartbroken by what goes on with these people with CPS. Hi, Erin, my beautiful Erin. Every story is serious and every story is tragic. I spoke to a parent who is also a grandfather. He said to me today, he said, parents are, and I'm quoting what he said. He said, parents are constantly exposed to the state sanctioned parental rights that is used to gaslight children into questioning the reality of who their parents are. He went on saying, children are treated like pound puppies. Real parents, when confronted with the disgusting act of CPS against their siblings and what have you, when it comes to toxic behavior that is conducted by CPS, it makes him sick to his stomach and cannot believe that he actually fought for this country one day. He said his stepson from his first marriage was diagnosed as having ADD by the school doctor. He said his wife and him refused to drug his son, as the school suggested. He said, and I quote, we were fortunate the toxic behavior syndrome of CPS did not intervene at the time. He was an average student, never pressured by us to excel, who learned piano and Japanese on his own and found his element in the army as a paramedic and later through a career as a special forces doctor. Recently graduating an achievement with a bachelor degree in health science. At 37, he now trains others in that demanding field where ability to perform under adversity is the expectation of duty. Now, that was back then. Nowadays, they just want to drug children. And what's so sad about this is that they want to diagnose his grandson with ADD, who is 5 years old. And then later came on saying that the child is bipolar. How can a 5-year-old be diagnosed as bipolar? They want to drug his grandson. And when he refused, they told him he cannot see his grandson or visit him. And the allegation of his grandson not being with the parents is because the allegation came from a sister of the wife who doesn't have kids and does not like her sister, so she reported her to CPS. They're both successful parents, a great standing members of society, but yet they take their kids from them. And they put their kids in a foster home. It is very, 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 very sad to me that this continues to go on and on. Children are dying daily from foster parents. But they don't go after the sick children. You know, the one that really need help and the ones that are really abused, they don't go after them. They go after the healthy kids because they're easily adopted. However, they choose a healthy child to diagnose him at age 5 with bipolar and ADD to medicate the child so that way they get more funding. And that's where, folks, our tax dollars go to. Our tax dollars go to them, those idiots, those depleted souls, demonic individuals, to steal children. And on top of that, I get another call like an hour before the show started. Two parents that I happen to know very well who had CPS knock on their door today to tell them that they received an anonymous call that they're abusing their 3 kids. I happen to know those kids very well. Okay? Those kids are healthy. There is no abuse at all. However, the anonymous call came from someone. They don't want to disclose who that person is. And they wanted to remove the kids immediately. So the father said, where is your court order? Where's your evidence and proof that these kids are abused? They haven't even questioned the kids. So the social worker said that she's going to go get a court order and come back with the police. And if they don't open the door and cooperate, they will be arrested. So I get that call immediately asking me what they should do. So I told them, I said, as Mr. Davis always discloses, do not speak to the social workers. By law, they cannot get a court order to speak with you. By law, they cannot force the parents to speak. And they must have a court order, and they must have evidence of abuse in order for them to remove the children. That's the law. However, they're threatening to come back and take the kids with the police. Now, they were both telling me that they know who, they suspect who the report came from. So when they were talking to me, I realized that the report came from the school because his daughter, he was videotaping her, and they were walking towards the beach, and he was videotaping his kids, and one of his daughters was looking back and walked towards the pole. So she got injured on the cheek. You know, she was walking really fast, and she hit her cheek bone, so it bruised up like blue. So in the video, he was like, he dropped the phone. He's like, baby, are you okay? I can hear it. Are you okay? And she said, Daddy, that really hurts. And he said, well, pay attention next time when you walk. So when she went to school, the teacher saw the bruise on her cheek, and she reported to CPS. He literally said, I can show them the video, blah, 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 all the stuff. And he thinks he can, you know, everything is going to be okay. I told him not to do that, because no matter what you do, you open your mouth, and it will be held against you. They will say things that you did not even say. And he said, Georgette, but you know we're great parents. I said, yes, you're great parents. I have no doubt that you're great parents, but you're talking to a demonic entity that uses whatever you say against you, even with evidence. I told him what I said on my shows several times. Social workers are stupid. The definition of stupid is hearing the truth, seeing evidence of the truth, but still believe a lie. Why do they want to believe the lie? Because they're demonic inside. They're dark inside. You have to be dark inside to go and steal kids. You can't be a sane person to do that. You're dark inside. If you can just go happily to steal innocent kids from good families. And they have no remorse. They literally have no remorse. Monica said, exercise your constitutional rights, record all threats. Monica, he has cameras in the house. Everything is recorded. And he actually did what I advised him to do a while back. I think a few weeks ago, I had attorney Jennifer Annie on one of my shows. And she said in the show, she said, you're going to have cameras in your home. The social worker cannot by law enter your home if you have a sign outside saying that this is a 24-hour surveillance home. If she enters your residence and she cannot by law tell you to shut your cameras off. By law. He or she cannot tell you that. So luckily he did that. He listened to what I told him after the show. I actually called all my friends and I told them to do that. And he did put the sign outside and she did enter the home. However, if you're stuck with a court-appointed attorney and you have that evidence, he or she is not going to submit that evidence to court. It is very true what my parents used to say, you get what you pay for. The court pretenders, they don't get paid by you. They're not going to go against the state nor the county. They're going to do what is best for them. And that's the ugly truth about CPS. The system is so corrupt that there's actually no words. There's sometimes I just get kind of like, all I do is like I'm taking a deep breath, trying to process what happens daily to good parents. Daily. The most victims I have spoken with are mothers. The most victims. How can you just go strip a child from a good mom? Disturb the child's peace at 2:30 in the morning. And when the child behaves or takes a stand and reacts towards the situation, then you say it's the parent's fault. How can you go say a parent had domestic violence when there's no police record indicating domestic violence? But yet you're taking the allegation of a report made by an anonymous person. Anonymous person. You go to the home, steal children because of an anonymous person. While those assholes, if they're really alleging truth or if they have facts, why would they have to be anonymous? Why do they have to be anonymous? And those anonymous calls, right? It could be from anybody. An angry ex-spouse doesn't want to pay child support, which is most cases. An angry sister that doesn't have kids and she doesn't like the way her sister is raising hers, so she will call, make an anonymous call. Why? Because she has animosity told her sister. Or an ex-mother-in-law that can't stand her daughter-in-law. Or an aunt or an uncle or a best friend. Jealous because you have a perfect marriage and she can't find a man in her life. They make calls, report you. Neighbors report you. And CPS takes it on, and there you go. It's like a genie in a bottle, pops up. Brian said CPS pushed his wife to suicide, falsely accused him of molesting his son with an alleged outcry. This is really sad, Brian. I am very sorry. And I believe you, Brian. I truly believe you. It's people like Brian and all of you guys. You guys are all victims. And some mothers cannot handle the pain and they result to suicide. You're stealing a child that is bonded with the mother from her eyes, from her heart, from her soul. It's literally you're taking everything from her and you left her empty with nothing. Parents find themselves fighting for their children, and they're still clueless as to why. And all of a sudden, the social workers makes up stories as the report is going on. I mean, as the case is open and it continues. Different stories. The parents find out, hey, last social worker wrote this, but this social worker said this, and the parents can't process. They can't process because a freaking 23-year-old social worker is making a decision about their lives. And who is this social worker? She's useless. She's a little girl, probably barely passed high school, and she's all of a sudden a social worker. They're going to hospitals, targeting young mothers, taking their babies from them, saying it's due to neglect and abuse. How in the name of God did the young mother neglected the child when she just gave birth to the child? But neglect and abuse is very common now. It's common. It's very, very, very common. Earlier today, I mentioned this. There's a judge, I was told, I cannot say his name, but you guys do your research and you'll know who I'm talking about. A judge in the Monterey Park Courthouse, the Edmond Courthouse. He is the spokesperson and an advocate for fosterall.org, which is an adoption agency. The fosterall.org take children who are neglected and abused. This judge, every case he has is neglect and abuse. This judge is the spokesperson and the advocate of fosterall.org in Los Angeles, Riverside, and Orange County. There's 30 kids in Los Angeles that are still in the system. They're abused, neglected, molested, not stripped away from their family, and they age out in the system. Those kids result to what? Drugs. Jumping in the arm of the next abuser, finding comfort. Where's our government? What the are they doing? What are they doing? Well, the kids age out of the system. They're no longer needed or wanted. They're no longer cared for. They're left. They're left behind. Literally, left behind. There's over 1,800 kids that made reports against the foster family in Los Angeles County. They reported abuse and neglect. We're talking about physical abuse, mental abuse, and sexual abuse. And the social workers ignore it. They ignore it because they don't have time. But yet you have the time to go to a mother's home and steal her children from her without evidence of neglect and abuse. This is how disgusting our system is. And when you ask them what type of neglect, they make up shit in their head. They literally make up shit in their head. And what really gets me, what makes me boil inside, is that they say the child said. And the child never said that the parent touched them. But then you go to court, the judges tell you to shut up if you open your mouth. The judge judges you if you're crying because of the stress. You haven't slept, you haven't ate, you can't function, you can't keep a job because of the fact that you don't have your children with you. And the judge looks at a mother in court crying for her child, begging the judge, and the judge tells them to shut up. That's how effed up our system is and how screwed up our judges are. Whether you're in CPS court, whether you're in family court, it don't matter. They're all the same shit. All of them. Literally, judges have black robe fever. I say this all the time. And I keep mentioning this over and over again in my shows. Vote them out. Don't just vote because you are a Republican or a Democrat and you vote for your party. That's BS. Wake up and wise up. Vote for the right party. Vote for the family-oriented judges that judge fairly. But judges take the word of a depleted, idiotic, stupid social worker. So that's why they feel they're above the law, because they're not being held accountable. Because judges believes them even when there's evidence and the evidence are not submitted to court accordingly. The way it should be done, because your court-appointed attorney is an ass of an attorney who can't get it right because he or she want to be judges one day and they don't want to go against the state. All they care about is their future, their funding, their pocket, their vacation, their family time. While mothers are begging for help. They do nothing to help people. Absolutely zero. They don't return people's calls. They don't care if the mothers have evidence. They don't give a crap. What is up with that? Because we as people are not coming together to vote them out. This is disgusting on all levels. And our tax dollars goes to who? Those idiots. Those judges, social workers, court pretenders. I mentioned this several times to you guys that I have no respect for anyone. Whether they're district attorneys, social workers, judges, attorneys. I'm talking about the court pretenders, that is. They're doing nothing for the people. But yet, they say wonderful things when it's about the voting time. Promises and picture this beautiful thing in writing of who they are when they are nothing but dirt. Actually, dirt has more value than they do. Because all they are dark inside. And they have absolutely nothing going for them. They're good on paper, but that means nothing. If you lack integrity, character, common sense, you're literally nothing. All you are is a business card with a title written on it. That's all you are. Integrity and character, your character is what makes you who you are. It's not your freaking title. Devona said if voting them out will be the same as voting similar individuals in, we are doomed. I understand, Davina. And I get it. But baby girl, when I tell you do your research, you do your research about this individual that you're considering voting for. I have friends of mine that I actually told them straight to their faces. They're actually biased because they vote because you are a woman, right? My female friends, they vote, oh, I'm going to vote for her because she's a woman. Well, what type of woman is she? Who is she? Let's find out. No, she's a woman. That's all I need to know. That's not right. Or or my other friends vote because they're Democrat. Oh, I'm going to vote for him because he's a Democrat. No. Or I'm going to vote for her because she's a Republican. Or I'm going to vote because we need a woman in office. That's BS. That is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Because our thinking is limited. You can't think like that. That's why our country is so screwed up. The older I get, the more screwed up America is. I can't even celebrate the 4th of July like I used to. Because there is no justice in America. You're stealing our children, right? But yet you go to Africa and you feed the children, which is I'm not opposing to, but just think about it. You're stealing our children from our land, and you go to other countries to feed other children who are with their parents. How screwed up and disgusting is that? But they leave the abused children with the abuser. And they only put their focus on the healthy kids. Because they're easily adopted. Just because there's a young mother, it doesn't mean she can't be a good mother. But you go and steal her kids. Brian said, with our second child, they presented an unsigned court order at the hospital. I refused to surrender. Violet got to take her home for a week when investigators appealed with lies and reliable. Referral from the alcoholic drug addict, ex-counselor. Oh, Brian, I am so sorry, babe. But this injustice goes on and on daily. There's a child right now in his deathbed that was kicked to near death from a foster mom. And I have absolutely, my heart and my prayers go out to you, Brian, and your family. And please, you guys, pray for this little child in the hospital right now. He's only 3 years old, and I have no idea if he's going to survive or not. I have no clue. There's another story that I want to share with you. FDSS, I can't say the word. He said, they stole me from my mom and my kids, and my kids from me, and my mom from her mom. It's vicious cycle in which they say former foster care children are damaged and therefore cannot raise kids. I showed them, and you can win. They target foster kids that were in the system. So you really never leave the system. And when those foster kids have children, they come after those kids. I speak to so many people who were foster care children before. And I have a lady that they took 12 kids from her. She was a foster child. She had kids, and every kid she has, they take the child from her. Every kid. So they removed total of 12 kids from her. She's 43 years old now. And now she's making a difference. She's in New York. She's making a difference by helping other mothers cope with the pain, educating them. And I know, you guys, we all go through that type of pain. But this type of pain, when they steal your child from you, it's you never have closure, because your heart is literally taken from your body when they steal your child from you. A mother's love to her children is so intense, that you literally leave the mother empty. I'm saying literally leave her empty without her child. And of course, the fathers, they want to be the heroes, the protectors, and they can't, they're held silent. And they can't be that father that wants to protect his family. Because if he reacts, right, then he's going to lose everything. But yet, if he doesn't react and he cooperates with CPS, he's still going to lose everything. Because what they do is they make parents get classes, and the classes take away from their work schedule, drug testing, this and this. And drug testing for what? They don't even have drugs in their system. But what they do is they distract the parents to do whatever they want to do, right? Distracting the parents until they find a suitable home that wants to adopt the child. Because the parents cannot afford an attorney outside of the court pretenders. They can't afford a private attorney. And a private attorney works for a living. Just like you can't go to work for free, I'm not going to work for free. Nobody works for free. I donate my time, but I also have to have a job in order for me to make a living. But they know parents cannot afford it. So what they do, distract the parents with classes, some nonsense crap. And then they end up losing their job. I have a client that lost 4 jobs because of all the classes he had to do. But yet they want him to have a job. How do you want him to keep a job if you keep switching the schedules on him, right? And you're not accommodating his job schedule. But yet when he loses his job, you're saying that he can't hold a job. And he's unfit to be a father. But he didn't lose his job before you stole his kids from him and his wife. Social workers are, like I said, they're demonic. And that's why I have no, how can I say it? I have no respect for social workers who, come out and say, oh, I was a social worker for 10 years, 20 years. And, as soon as I had my child, I realized how it is being a mom. And now I understand. And I feel, ashamed of all the years I worked with CPS, stealing kids from parents or what have you. And then they start this thing for themselves, this business now, coaching business or whatever the heck they want to do. So what do they want to do? Go on social media and pretend, hey, I used to be the social worker, but now I'm different now. My thing is, where were you 20 years ago? So all of a sudden you're great? You're making a difference? Or are you just saying that to, make a name of yourself for your business, that is? So what is the motives there? But yet you call yourself, you came to the realization that, you've done wrong in the past. You can't bring back, you can't change what you've done in the past because you stole kids. You made up stories, you lied. And those mothers suffered. Some mothers die and not see their children. So I have no compassion for that. Because what I realize, there's a lot of social workers who either retire or leave their job and want to start their own business, and they make up this, oh, I came to the realization that, ooh, I messed up. Devona said, not an inch or ounce of respect for them. School staff, police, etc., that also are involved with them. That is so right, babe. Schools are involved, police are involved, hospitals are involved. That's what it is. They have so much immunity, so much power. Because judges are lazy. They're lazy. They don't question social workers. They just let them say whatever they want to say, and they believe them. So that's why social workers laugh when mothers cry when you steal their kids from her. They laugh. They actually enjoy watching your pain. And that's a form of power. They're actually cold, narcissistic, sociopathic idiots and cowards. That's who they are. And there's not one social worker that I will ever respect, whether she retired, whether she came to the realization that she's a different person now. I have no respect for them, period. And I actually say that to their faces. I actually ask them, where were you? You did not come to the realization that you lied? You didn't know you were lying? You just, oh, wow, I didn't realize that I was lying? That doesn't make any damn sense. All of a sudden, they want to start their business and have this and that, and then they're gonna defend their past. Not when it comes to stealing children, you don't. Like, I understand if in the past you've done drugs and you're a better person now. I support that. 100 support that. But don't come now and say that you are different after you stole all these kids 10, 20, 30 years ago? No, I have no respect for you, and I never will. That is my opinion, and I'm entitled to my own opinion. Monica said, too little, too late. They do it for years. Yep, they do it for years. They've done it for years. They enjoyed it. They laughed at mother's pain. They lied, manipulated, fabricated information. There's a social worker that actually in Riverside County, the father gave her evidence of pictures around the holiday time, Thanksgiving of last year, that the kids were with him and his wife. And the child, when they were cutting the turkey, the child broke a plate. And when she picked up the plate, she cut her finger. It was like a really big cut. He gave it to the social worker. He said to me, he said, Georgette, I had it on a USB drive. He said, I deleted it from my phone. So when the social worker came, I said to her, I said, that's the only evidence I have, is because it was, dinner, family time. They were recording the whole video. And the reason they took the child to the hospital is because when she had the cut, she cut the artery on her finger, so it was bleeding a lot. That's why they took the child to the hospital. So when he told her that I don't have a copy, that's the only one I have, because he deleted it from his phone. She said to him, she said, well, I will make sure I make a copy and I'll bring it to you. At the time, he didn't realize that she was lying to him. And then he gave her the USB drive. The social worker lied and said she never took anything from him. Now, in my mind, I said, okay, well, did you download it on your computer? Then you transfer it to the USB drive? Because it would have been there. But according to him, he had a little device, something connected to his phone, where he automatically transferred it from his phone to the USB drive immediately, and then he restarted his phone, like manufacturer restart, something was going on, and he wanted to save it, all that stuff. So that was his only copy. But never trust a social worker. And I tell you guys that a lot. They're not your friend. They're not going to be your hangout buddy, to go to Starbucks and start, venting out to. They're not that kind of breed. They're fake. A narcissist is fake. A sociopath is fake. How many people have you heard that murdered, right? Who are your next door neighbor? And you hear people saying, well, he's so quiet. He was so nice. He was so sweet. Those are the ones you need to watch out from. Because they're hiding behind a mask. They have a mask on them. And their true identity reveals itself at the right moment. When they see fit, it's the right moment. So never give a social worker evidence. He or she is not your attorney. And no matter how much evidence you show them, they're going to be ahead of the game, and they're going to make up something to contradict your evidence. It's weird. I know it sounds weird, but that's what they do. I have a social worker that wrote in a report that the mother fabricated pictures of the child. Like she made up like she said that the mother used some kind of something and to change the picture or something like that. And that's not true. How is that possible if the picture is on your phone? You can't do Photoshop on a picture that's on your phone. Raymond said, I had an awesome caseworker for a month who was helping me, asking supervisors why the stuff wasn't done in my case and referrals not sent. She was quickly fired and joined me in my lawsuit. That's very rare, Raymond. I'm happy for you. Unfortunately, that was 1 out of a million, trillion, gazillion. But that's not the case. So I will stand for what I said. I trust no social workers, whether they're fired, retired, quit. I have zero respect for all of you, all social workers combined. And that's not going to change. John said, this a worldwide pandemic. I am in UK and family courts are ruthless. No care for children. That is true. He's in the UK. The UK are facing a lot of CPS abuse. UK, Hawaii, Canada, and there's another country that I forgot which one. It's gonna be worldwide. CPS is going to be worldwide. I say this to let you guys know it's like it's the new world order where your child becomes a number in the state and you literally have no rights to your own child. And the state has jurisdiction of your child to adopt your child. How screwed up is this? It's going to be worldwide. You'll see. Before you know it, it's going to be in the Middle East too. Because it's money. It's money business. It's like $1 trillion business a year. And we pay for it with our tax money. That's where our tax dollars go. Heidi said, as long as they get them away from the mom and dad, they feel it's solved. No. As long as they get them away from the mom and dad, they ensure funding. Nothing is solved. Because the main focus should be the children. Not your funding. It should be the children. When they say child protective services, if they can't hold up to the name, then we should call it child abductive services, not child protective services. Because you're not protecting the children. You're stealing the children. You're abducting them from their families. And you know what's the sad part is that they put children in different foster homes. So the siblings are divided up in different homes. So they're all separated, scattered. And when the child reports abuse, they're not helped, right? But when somebody makes a false report, you're easy for a social worker to just go snatch your child from you. But when somebody makes a report about the foster mom or the child reports abuse, guess what? It's being ignored 3 times, reports 4 times being ignored. And then something drastically happens to the child. And all of a sudden, they take the child from the foster home and put them in another foster home. And then what happens to that foster mother? Nothing. It was unfounded. Unfounded. Social workers are the scummiest entity. They're literally a skunk. A skunk is a lot more value in a skunk than a social worker. Because they smell worse than a skunk. What? I got a call the other day. I think I shared this with you guys from a social worker. That actually made me smile. That I'm important enough for them to watch my show. And to actually call me. And for what? Are you trying to justify yourself? Or are you trying to what? What is that going to do? Did that move me? No. It just made me smile. Because you're cowards. You're worthless. You're useless. There's nothing good about you. You need help. It's not the mother or the dad that needs psychiatric help. You need psychiatric help. Social workers need psychiatric help. Judges should go back and actually get re-educated. Educate yourselves. Because obviously you're suck as a judge. What is the point of you is nothing. Aside from having black robe fever, you're literally nothing. Because you can't even do your job and judge fairly. You can't even do that. You can't accomplish that. Because you're lazy. Because you don't pay attention. Because you don't use your God-given anything. Nothing in there. It's like soup in your head. Jello. Because you can't distinguish between right and wrong. You can't even look at evidence and make your decision based on what you are looking at. Oh, look what Mr. or Miss FDSS said. Just wait till they mention your show in court. That will make you feel empowered, not pressured or threatened like they intend. Thank you for that. I'm already empowered just getting a phone call from her. It's not the first time I get a call from a social worker after my shows. But it makes me happy inside. I smile. Because what they don't know is that I'm a warrior. I've always been a warrior. I always spoke my mind. My friends and family know this about me. I am not going to sugarcoat nothing just to satisfy you. I either speak my mind or I don't speak at all. And I have the right to do both. So why are they watching my show? I don't get it. If they disagree with me, why are they watching my show? I asked her that question. She didn't respond. The phone dropped, kind of like she hung up. Because she can't respond to that question. That's how stupid they are. They're so stupid, I laugh at them. I expect them to do the wrong thing. It's like they prove me right every single time. Just like a narcissist proves me right every single time. Why? Because I literally know what a narcissist is going to do before he does it. And I laugh. It took me years to understand what a narcissist is and how they behave. I'm literally 5 steps ahead of a narcissist because I learned. So when they do step 1 and 2, I'm already at step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I educated myself because that's what we should do. We should educate ourselves and how to handle people like that. We have rights. I'm not saying go and punch a social worker in the face to get, to have your rights. If DSS said, I'm a guy, ma'am, and I've been fighting for a few years now. I told them after they took my kids, I'd never let go. They gave my kids back, and I am making up for the lost time. But I am itching to help others. I am so proud of you. So very proud of you. And that's how we should all be. We should all stand together to help one another. We should not think we're better than somebody else. We should use our experiences and bring light to those who don't see light and all they see is darkness. That's what we should do. But a lot of people are using it as, means to make them look better or means to accomplish something, a goal that they have in mind. That's not what it should be. You either do it from your heart or don't bother to do it at all. Don't do it if it's not from your heart because you're just fake. And there's nothing more that ails me than fake people because you don't even have your own identity. You're so fake. You have to pretend to be something you're not because you have no identity of yourself. And that is a big deal to me. We should all wise up. We should all stick together and help one another, especially in times like these. United, you're stronger. Divided, you're weaker. Remember that. So next time you have animosity with your own family, rivalry, fights and all that, think about it. When you're separated from one another, you're weaker. But when you're united, when you connect together as a family, you are stronger. When you go to war, you don't go to war with one body because one person is weaker than 100,000. Instead of you reporting your neighbor because you don't like them, reporting your ex-husband or you reporting your ex-wife or reporting your ex-daughter-in-law, reporting this, your sister or brother or whatever, because you hate them for something or you resent them for something and then their kids pay the price, that's horrible. That's just bad. And for what? For some dumb shit in your mind. Your mind can be your own worst enemy because you create in your life what you think about. What comes out of your mind, it stays in your heart and you create that. You make it happen. When you say, I'm scared, this is going to happen to me, guess what? By you just saying it, it's going to happen to you. It's going to happen to you. Because what comes out of your mouth is what defiles your life. It's not what you put in your mouth, right? That hurts you. And what comes out of your mouth that defiles your destiny, your future, the here and now. That's what hurts you. I tell mothers this, think positive. Think positive. Because that's what's going to create in your life. When a mother tells me I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared, To me, you should never be scared. You can be concerned, but when you're scared, you don't think logically. You don't think right. When you're scared, your fear takes over. Don't be afraid of the system, but have the knowledge to know how to fight the system. Knowledge is the key to winning. Your fear is going to hinder you and stand in your way. So that's why Mr. Davis says always use strategy to win cases. If your attorney doesn't have the strategy to win your case, then get the hell away from that attorney. If an attorney's been practicing law for over 10 years and still doesn't know what a strategy is to win a case, then he or she are useless and there's no need for them. The time is up, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for sharing your stories with me. And I love each and every one of you. I don't need to be in your home to love you. I love you because of the struggles you're facing. I love you because you're strong enough. I love you because you're being the voice for other mothers and fathers who can't speak up. And I'm very proud of each and every one of you. And please join me at 7 o'clock p.m. tonight, Pacific Standard Time, for Relatives Fight CPS. And God bless you all. And I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.